Welcome to our channel Wisdom of Stoicism. Have you ever felt disrespected? Maybe someone ignored you, talked down to you, or treated you like you didn't matter. You wanted to say something, to stand up for yourself, but deep down, you knew that reacting emotionally would only make things worse. Here's the truth. Respect isn't something you beg for. It's something you command. And the people who truly understand this never have to ask for it. They walk into a room, and others naturally respect them. Not because they're loud, aggressive, or trying to prove something, but because of the way they carry themselves. So, how do you become one of those people? How do you make sure that no one ever disrespects you again? The answer lies in ancient wisdom. The Stoics, thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, knew the secret. They mastered respect not by demanding it, but by living in a way that left no other choice. In this video, we're going to break down 9 powerful Stoic lessons that will change how people treat you forever. These are the same principles that have stood the test of time, used by warriors, leaders, and the most respected people in history. Master these, and people will start seeing you differently. You won't need to force respect. It will come to you naturally. Let's begin. Lesson number 1. Compassion. Have you ever been in a situation where someone insulted you, mocked you, or treated you with complete disrespect? Your first instinct might be to snap back, defend yourself, or put them in their place. But here's the truth. Reacting with anger only gives them power over you. Now imagine this. You're walking down the street, and a man starts shouting insults at you. You don't even know him. Would you take it personally? Would you let his words ruin your day? No, because deep down, you know his behavior has nothing to do with you. It's a reflection of his own struggles, his own frustrations. This is where compassion becomes a weapon. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, once wrote, "Whenever someone mistreats you, remember, it's because they believe it's the right thing for them." Their actions come from their own understanding. That's powerful. It means that when someone disrespects you, they're acting out of their own weakness, their own pain. And if you can see that, you don't have to take it personally. Instead of reacting with frustration, you respond with wisdom. Instead of meeting anger with anger, you remain calm. That's what makes you untouchable. Let's look at a real-life example. Imagine you're in a workplace, and a coworker constantly criticizes you. They belittle your efforts, make snide remarks, and act like they're superior. Most people would get defensive, argue back, or even start hating that person. But a Stoic sees the bigger picture. Maybe that coworker is insecure. Maybe they feel threatened by you. Maybe they are dealing with personal problems that have nothing to do with you. If you approach the situation with compassion instead of hostility, you maintain control. You don't let their negativity affect your inner peace. And over time, they will either change their behavior or realize they can't shake you. Either way, you win. This doesn't mean you let people walk all over you. Compassion doesn't mean weakness. It means understanding without absorbing their negativity. When you stay calm in the face of disrespect, you show strength. You show emotional control. And that's what earns real respect. So here's a challenge. The next time someone disrespects you, take a deep breath. Instead of reacting instantly, ask yourself, why is this person acting this way? Is their behavior really about me, or is it about them? When you start thinking this way, you'll notice something incredible. People who used to disrespect you will either stop, or they'll feel powerless in their attempts to bring you down. Because a calm and compassionate mind is impossible to shake. And that's the first key to making sure no one ever disrespects you again. Lesson number 2. Right speech. Words have power. They can build you up or tear you down. And when it comes to respect, how you speak determines how people treat you. The Stoics understood this deeply. They believed that controlling your words means controlling your life. Think about it. Have you ever seen someone lose their temper in an argument? Maybe they raised their voice, threw insults, or let their emotions take over. Did they look strong? No, they looked weak. Because the moment you lose control of your words, you lose control of the situation. Now let's flip the scenario. Picture someone who never raises their voice, never reacts emotionally, and always speaks with confidence and clarity. That person naturally commands respect. People listen when they speak. That's what right speech is about, choosing your words wisely so you never lose power. The philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And this applies directly to the way you speak. If someone disrespects you, the worst thing you can do is react emotionally. That's what they want. They want you to get angry, to argue, to prove something. But when you stay calm and respond with intelligence, you take away their control. A great example of this is Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher. He was constantly surrounded by people who challenged him, disrespected him, and even plotted against him. But he never reacted with anger. Instead, he responded with reason and dignity. He knew that his words were a reflection of his mind. And if he let his words become chaotic, his mind would follow. So, how do you master right speech? Here are 3 simple rules. First, pause before you speak. When someone says something disrespectful, your first instinct is to snap back. But the Stoics taught that a moment of silence can be more powerful than 1,000 words. Before you respond, take a deep breath and think, what's the smartest way to handle this? Second, lower your voice instead of raising it. Most people think shouting makes them look strong. It doesn't. The most powerful people in history, leaders, warriors, philosophers, spoke with calm authority. When you lower your voice and speak slowly, people lean in. They pay attention. Third, choose clarity over emotion. When you let emotions take over, your words lose their impact. But when you speak clearly, with purpose and logic, people respect what you say. Even if they don't agree with you, they will respect how you communicate. Now, let's put this into action. Imagine someone insults you in public. Instead of reacting, you look at them calmly and say, "I'm not sure why you feel the need to say that, but I hope you find what you're looking for." Then you walk away. No argument, no emotional reaction, just control. That's power. When you master right speech, you don't just earn respect, you command it. And the best part? You never have to force it. People will respect you simply because of the way you carry yourself. That's the Stoic way. Lesson number 3, mindfulness. Have you ever found yourself getting upset over something someone said or did? Maybe they made a comment, ignored you, or said something rude, and immediately you felt the urge to react. It's natural to feel upset, but here's the secret the Stoics knew. Don't let your emotions control you. You control your emotions. Now, that might sound easier said than done, right? We live in a world where people cut us off in traffic, talk behind our backs, or do things that irritate us. But instead of reacting right away, the Stoics taught us to pause, take a breath, and think before we speak or act. Imagine this. Someone insults you. In the past, maybe you would have fired back, defending yourself, even attacking them in return. But the Stoics showed us that reacting immediately is a loss of control. Instead, they practiced mindfulness. This simply means being aware of your thoughts and emotions in the present moment, without being swept away by them. Here's an exercise you can try. The next time you feel triggered, take a moment to pause. Literally stop what you're doing. Take a deep breath, and just observe your feelings. Are you angry, hurt, frustrated? Recognize that these emotions are just temporary. They don't define you. They don't control you. You do. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." That means a lot of the emotional pain we feel comes from our own thoughts, not the actual situation. Often, we imagine the worst and let our minds run wild, creating problems that weren't there in the first place. When we're mindful, we stop that cycle. Mindfulness isn't just about sitting in silence or meditating, though that's helpful too. It's about being aware of your emotional responses and choosing how to react in each moment. When you practice this, people won't be able to rattle you. You'll stay calm, collected, and in control, no matter what's happening around you. And guess what? This kind of self-control makes you respect yourself more, and naturally, others will start respecting you too. They'll notice that you don't get shaken by petty insults or emotional outbursts. You'll have a calm presence, and people are drawn to that. Think of Marcus Aurelius. He was the Roman emperor, and he faced many challenges, including betrayal, wars, and personal loss. Yet, he didn't react emotionally in those situations. Instead, he wrote in his journal, reminding himself to focus on what he could control, his own reactions. This allowed him to stay composed, even in the most chaotic times. So, the next time someone disrespects you or tries to push your buttons, remember this: your reaction is your choice. By practicing mindfulness, you can detach from the emotions that try to take over and instead respond with wisdom, patience, and control. This doesn't mean you won't feel upset or frustrated. It just means you won't let those feelings dictate your actions. And when you're able to do that, you'll no longer be at the mercy of disrespect. You'll become someone who commands respect simply by how you carry yourself. Remember, the power is within you. Stay mindful, stay in control, and never let anyone's negativity take away your peace. Lesson number 4. Forgiveness. Let's talk about forgiveness. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Forgiveness? Why should I forgive someone who disrespects me? It's a fair question, and one we all ask ourselves at some point. When someone insults us or treats us poorly, it's hard to imagine letting go of the hurt. But what if I told you that forgiveness is one of the most powerful tools you can use, not just to improve your relationships with others, but to improve your relationship with yourself? Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, had a powerful view on this. He said, "The best revenge is to be unlike the one who performed the injury." Think about that for a second. The idea isn't to get back at someone who disrespects you. It's about showing them that their words or actions don't have the power to control how you feel. And when you choose to forgive, you take that power back. Now, forgiveness isn't about excusing the other person's behavior. It doesn't mean you're saying what they did was okay. It simply means you're choosing not to let it consume you. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack full of anger, resentment, and bitterness. Every time someone disrespects you, you add another stone to that pack. Eventually, it gets so heavy you can't walk straight. You're the one suffering, not the person who wronged you. But when you forgive, it's like putting that backpack down. You free yourself from the burden. Think about it like this. When you hold on to anger and resentment, you're keeping the other person in control of your emotions. You're allowing them to determine how you feel, even when they're not around. That's a loss of power. But forgiveness is about reclaiming that power. It's about saying, I choose peace over anger. I choose freedom over grudges. It's also important to realize that forgiveness doesn't have to happen overnight. It's a process. You might not be able to forgive someone right away, and that's okay. But every time you let go of a little bit of that anger, you're getting closer to the peace you deserve. And the more you practice forgiveness, the easier it becomes. Here's something powerful to think about. Forgiveness is not just for the person who wronged you. It's for you. It's a gift you give to yourself. It allows you to move forward, to focus on what really matters in your life, and to leave behind the negativity that holds you back. Imagine how different your life would be if you stopped letting insults and disrespect define you. What if, instead of reacting with anger, you responded with grace and understanding? What if you chose to let go, not because the other person deserves it, but because you deserve peace? Remember, forgiveness is an act of strength, not weakness. It takes strength to not let someone's words or actions shape your life. It takes strength to rise above negativity. And it takes strength to choose forgiveness, even when it's the hardest thing to do. So, if someone disrespects you today, try this. Take a moment, pause, and choose forgiveness. Don't carry that weight with you any longer. Forgive not for them, but for yourself. The respect you'll earn, both from others and from yourself, will be more valuable than any moment of revenge. Lesson number 5. Non-attachment. When it comes to gaining respect, one of the most powerful things you can do is to practice non-attachment. But what exactly does that mean? It's simple. Don't tie your sense of self-worth to other people's opinions. Easier said than done, right? Especially when we live in a world where validation is just a like or a comment away. But the Stoics understood something crucial that we often forget. True strength comes from being able to stand firm in who you are without needing anyone else to tell you your value. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you found yourself seeking approval, whether it's from your boss, your friends, or even strangers online? When we seek constant validation, we give away our power. Every time someone doesn't recognize our value or respect us the way we want, we feel hurt or offended. But this reaction isn't a sign of strength. It's a sign that we're too attached to how others see us. Non-attachment doesn't mean you stop caring about others or their feelings. It simply means you stop needing them to define your worth. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most respected Stoic philosophers, wrote about this constantly in his journals. He knew that his peace of mind wasn't something to be bargained for. It wasn't based on the opinions of others. It was something he could control within himself. He recognized that external events, like someone's disrespect or criticism, had no power over him unless he allowed them to. This is what true freedom looks like. So, how do you put this into practice? It starts with understanding that your identity is not tied to the validation of others. When someone disrespects you, it's a reflection of them, not of you. People's opinions are influenced by their own experiences, biases, and insecurities. If you base your self-worth on how they view you, you're giving them control over your emotions. And that's where the trouble begins. When you detach from the need for validation, you can approach disrespect with a calm mind. You stop reacting impulsively. Instead of feeling hurt or defensive, you can simply observe the situation for what it is. Another person's actions that have nothing to do with your value. This doesn't mean you let people walk all over you or treat you poorly. It just means you're no longer giving them the power to define who you are or how you feel. Imagine a situation where someone disrespects you. Maybe they make a rude comment or cut you off in conversation. Instead of letting it ruin your mood or feeling the need to retaliate, you remain grounded. You know that their words are just noise. You don't let them penetrate your peace of mind. You respond calmly, or even choose to walk away without feeling the need to win the situation. It's not about proving anything to them. It's about proving to yourself that you have control over your emotions and reactions. The truth is, when you stop chasing validation, people start to notice. They respect you not because you're constantly seeking their approval, but because you exude confidence and inner strength. You become someone who is hard to disrespect because your worth isn't up for debate. It's solid, unshakable, and self-defined. So, the next time someone disrespects you, remember this: your value doesn't depend on their opinion. Stay true to yourself and detach from the need to be validated. When you do, you'll find that respect will come to you naturally. Not because you demanded it, but because you simply stopped needing it. Lesson number 6. Humility. Imagine you're in a room full of people, and the conversation is getting heated. Everyone's trying to outdo each other with their knowledge, their stories, and their opinions. And then there's you, quiet, composed, listening more than you speak. While others argue for attention, you stay humble, letting your actions and demeanor speak for themselves. It's in these moments that humility shows its true power. Humility doesn't mean being weak or passive. It doesn't mean you have to shrink back or hide who you are. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Humility is a strength that commands respect without demanding it. The Stoics understood this. They knew that the loudest person in the room is often the one who feels the most insecure. The person who needs to be heard the most is often the one who has the least control over themselves. Think about the people you truly respect. Are they the ones who boast about their achievements, constantly reminding everyone of how great they are? Or are they the ones who quietly lead by example, letting their actions speak louder than their words? True strength lies in being secure in who you are, without needing to prove it to anyone. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, put it perfectly when he said, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." What he meant was that when we're angry or feel disrespected, our first instinct is to lash out. But humility teaches us to pause, to reflect, and to respond with grace, not impulsivity. Humility doesn't mean we don't defend ourselves when needed. It means we do it calmly, with purpose, and without letting our egos take over. Let's take a look at a real-life example. Imagine a situation where someone insults you in front of others. The typical reaction might be to fire back with a harsh comment or try to prove them wrong. But when you stay humble, you don't need to react to every insult or disrespect. Instead, you can respond with composure, showing that their words don't have the power to shake you. When you remain humble, people start to notice. They begin to realize that you're someone who doesn't get caught up in drama. They see your inner strength and, more importantly, your emotional control. And this, in turn, commands respect. Humility also means accepting that we don't have all the answers. It's about acknowledging that we can learn from everyone around us, no matter their status, age, or background. When we embrace humility, we open ourselves to growth and understanding. We stop pretending to know everything, and instead we listen and learn. And in doing so, we become wiser, stronger, and more respected. Remember, humility is not about downplaying your worth or pretending to be less than you are. It's about having the self-assurance to be yourself without needing validation from others. When you live with humility, you don't need to chase respect. It comes to you naturally, because people will see you for what you truly are, someone worthy of admiration and trust. So, the next time you face disrespect, don't fight fire with fire. Don't try to prove your worth through anger or arrogance. Instead, remain humble. Let your actions and your quiet confidence speak for themselves. Because in the end, humility doesn't make you small, it makes you powerful. And remember, when you are humble, no one can truly disrespect you. Lesson number 7. Patience. In a world that moves fast, where everything feels urgent, patience might seem like a forgotten virtue. But if you want to earn respect and never be disrespected, learning the art of patience is one of the most powerful tools you can have. Imagine you're in a heated conversation. Someone says something that triggers you, and your first instinct is to react. Quickly, emotionally, and perhaps even angrily. We've all been there. The need to defend ourselves, to respond immediately, can feel overwhelming. But here's the thing. When you react in haste, you're not in control of yourself, and people notice that. It shows vulnerability. It shows a lack of composure. Now, picture this. Instead of reacting right away, you pause. You breathe. You take a moment to gather your thoughts. You let the words sink in, not in a way that fuels anger, but in a way that lets you understand the situation more clearly. You stay still, unshaken, and allow the moment to pass. And in doing so, you regain control. In that brief moment of stillness, you show strength. And that's what people respect the most. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, often wrote about the importance of patience. He understood that life throws challenges our way, but it's our reaction to those challenges that defines us. In his writings, he frequently reminded himself to stay calm and composed, regardless of the situation. And that's what Stoicism teaches us: to respond, not react. Reacting is impulsive. Responding is deliberate and thoughtful. The beauty of patience is that it doesn't just protect you from making rash decisions. It also makes others think twice before dishing out disrespect. When you're patient, you don't rise to every little provocation. You show that their words or actions have no power over you. You are the one who holds the reins. And when you master this, people can't help but respect you. In those moments of discomfort, when someone is trying to get under your skin, remember that patience is your superpower. You don't have to win every argument or prove every point. Sometimes the greatest strength lies in doing nothing, at least for a moment. That pause allows you to assess, to choose your response wisely, and to maintain control over your emotions. Patience also helps you to see the bigger picture. When you're patient, you don't get lost in the heat of the moment. You understand that time reveals truths. What might seem like a disrespectful comment today can often be forgotten tomorrow. And if it's something that truly matters, your calm, collected response will always speak louder than your immediate, emotional reaction. And here's the thing. People don't just respect you for being patient in front of them. They respect you because, through patience, you show your ability to control your mind and emotions. You demonstrate that your inner peace is not easily disturbed. In today's world, that's rare, and it's incredibly powerful. So next time someone disrespects you, instead of reacting impulsively, try patience. Pause, breathe, And in that moment, you'll notice how much more control you have, not only over the situation but also over how others perceive you. Patience will make you untouchable, and it will ensure that you command respect wherever you go. Lesson 8. Kindness. Sometimes, the best way to deal with disrespect isn't to respond with anger or retaliation. It's to respond with kindness. I know it sounds counterintuitive. When someone disrespects you, the natural instinct is to stand up for yourself, maybe even fire back with something hurtful. But the Stoics understood something powerful about human behavior. Kindness disarms negativity and often leaves the other person speechless. Think about it. When someone insults you or treats you poorly, they're often expecting a reaction. They want you to be angry or defensive. When you don't give them that reaction, when you instead respond with calmness and kindness, you confuse them. You take away the power they had over you because they no longer control your emotions. You are in control. And that, my friend, is a powerful position to be in. Kindness doesn't mean being weak or submissive. It's not about letting others walk all over you. In fact, kindness is a strength because it requires self-discipline and emotional control. It takes real power to remain composed when someone is disrespecting you. But when you respond with kindness, you show the world that you are in charge of your own mind, your own emotions, and your actions. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most respected Stoic philosophers, practiced this in his own life. He wrote in his journals, reminding himself daily that it was within his power to choose how he reacted to others, no matter how they treated him. He knew that if he responded to insults with anger or bitterness, he was only giving away his peace. But if he responded with kindness, he kept his inner calm intact, and his respect remained unshaken. Now, don't get me wrong. This doesn't mean you should always turn the other cheek or let people walk all over you. Stoicism teaches us that we have to protect our boundaries. But the difference is that you don't have to meet disrespect with more disrespect. You can choose not to engage in the cycle of negativity. Instead, respond in a way that maintains your dignity. Let's put this into practice. Imagine someone at work insults you or undermines your efforts in front of others. The immediate reaction might be to fire back with a sharp response to defend your honor. But if you stop for a moment, take a breath, and choose kindness, you're already winning. Instead of matching their negativity, you could offer a kind, composed response that puts you above the situation. You might say something like, "I understand that you're frustrated. Let's find a way to work together to fix this." That simple act of kindness not only diffuses the situation but also shows the person disrespecting you that you are the bigger person. You don't need to stoop to their level. You've made the choice to rise above it. And over time, people start to recognize this strength. They'll realize that disrespecting you won't get them the reaction they're hoping for. Instead, they'll start to respect you more. The key here is to remember that your reaction to others speaks louder than anything they say to you. When you respond with kindness, you build your own inner strength. You become unshakable. And while the person who disrespects you might feel momentarily empowered, they'll walk away feeling uncertain about how to deal with someone like you. Someone who commands respect, not through force, but through grace. So, next time you're faced with disrespect, try kindness. Not just for their sake, but for yours. It might not seem like the obvious choice, but in the long run, it's the one that will give you the most peace and the most respect. Lesson 9. Gratitude. Gratitude is often seen as a simple concept, but in Stoic philosophy, it's one of the most powerful tools you can use to navigate the challenges of life. Imagine this: you're faced with a difficult situation. Someone disrespects you, says something hurtful, or tries to push your buttons. What's your first reaction? Anger? Frustration? In that moment, it's easy to get swept up in those emotions. But here's where gratitude comes in. Instead of allowing yourself to be consumed by the negativity of the situation, take a step back and focus on what you can be grateful for. You might be thinking, how can I possibly be grateful when I've just been disrespected? That's exactly the point. Gratitude shifts your mindset. It's a choice, not something that happens automatically. By choosing to focus on the things you're grateful for, you take back control over your emotions. You stop letting the actions of others dictate how you feel. Let's take a moment to understand why this works. When you choose gratitude, you stop seeing yourself as a victim. Instead, you start recognizing the blessings in your life, your health, your loved ones, your opportunities, and you realize that these things matter more than someone's fleeting words. In a sense, gratitude puts everything into perspective. It reminds you that you are bigger than the situation, bigger than the insult, and bigger than the person who disrespected you. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, often reminded himself of the importance of gratitude. In his personal writings, he frequently acknowledged the simple blessings he had in his life. He knew that no matter how challenging his day was, he had control over one thing: his response. He chose to be grateful for the good, and he didn't let the bad overshadow it. Now, I want you to try something. The next time you feel disrespected or hurt by someone's actions, instead of letting anger rise, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and think about what you're thankful for in your life. It could be your family, your job, your health, or even the fact that you have the ability to breathe and think clearly. By focusing on gratitude, you're not dismissing the disrespect. You're simply choosing to give it less power. It might sound simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Gratitude changes how you view the world. It shifts your focus from what's wrong to what's right. And when you do this, people around you start to see something different in you. They notice that you're not easily rattled. You don't let small, temporary moments of disrespect affect you because you've anchored yourself in something far stronger: gratitude. So, the next time someone disrespects you, instead of fighting back with anger or retaliation, choose gratitude. Be thankful for the things that truly matter. And when you do this, you'll find that respect starts to come to you naturally. Not because you demanded it, but because your strength lies in your ability to stay grounded, to rise above negativity, and to focus on what really matters in life. Gratitude is the ultimate response to negativity because it reminds you that nothing can steal your peace unless you allow it. When you make gratitude your habit, you can navigate any storm with grace and calm, knowing that nothing and no one has the power to take your inner peace away. Respect is not something you demand, it's something you earn. And the way to earn it isn't by fighting back, proving yourself, or seeking approval. It comes from mastering yourself first. When you practice compassion, you stop taking things personally. When you choose your words wisely, people listen. When you stay mindful, patient, and humble, you gain quiet strength. And when you detach from opinions and let go of the need for validation, you become untouchable. People respect those who don't react emotionally, those who remain calm under pressure, those who show kindness but demand nothing in return. This is the Stoic way. So, if you want respect, don't chase it. Live in a way that commands it. Move with wisdom. Speak with purpose. Control your emotions. The more you focus on these principles, the less anyone will ever dare to disrespect you. If this message resonates with you, let me know in the comments. Which of these Stoic lessons will you apply in your life? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you found value in this video, hit the like button, subscribe for more wisdom, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay strong, stay stoic,